All right, let's see how this goes. Ooh, we're gonna be wavy today. Hey everybody, it's me, Aaliyah. I'm here for another bookish video. It's really echoey in here, so I'm gonna apologize in advance. Watching my other videos, you know that my husband and I have moved into our first apartment together. We have everything pretty much moved in and unpacked. The last thing left that we have not unpacked is my books. The reason we haven't unpacked these yet is because we don't have bookshelves here. The shelves I had at my house were kind of built into the wall. We are buying shelves, we don't really know which ones we want yet, and I don't know how long they take to get here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and unpack them now, and we're just gonna create some cute piles all over this room. I do want my next shelf to have some sort of theme, like the rainbow theme or something a little more creative than my last one did. So it might be good to go ahead and unpack these beforehand just so that I can kind of start categorizing by color or by genre or something like that. My poor books have been completely uncategorized. I kind of kept them in their sort of kind of categorizations when I put them in the boxes, but then the boxes themselves have kind of been moved around, and they got moved from my car to Kenneth's car, then they got moved from there to in here, and then we moved it from another room into this room, and they've all been, I mean, we have no idea which ones are which now. I don't know why I keep saying we, because these are kind of like my thing. He's not quite as much of an avid reader as me, so like 99.99% of these books are mine. But everything starts coming in we's now for some reason. This video is probably going to be quite long. It's going to be kind of like a bookshelf tour, I guess, because you're going to see all of my books that I've ever owned, save for maybe these school books that I bought but didn't want because I never would have read them in the first place, or the 2 books ever that were so incredibly frustrating I couldn't even finish them, so I got rid of them. It has only happened twice, I promise. I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes. I'm hoping really to keep it like 15, but that's very doubtful. I'm super excited to get these back out. It's going to be like Christmas, except it's books I already own, but it still feels like Christmas. Without further ado, we might as well go ahead and get started. Let's start with these ones sitting up here, I guess. These don't really count as books. They are all of my Teen Vogue magazines back when I was subscribed to them from like 2014 to 2016, so from age 15 to 17ish. Those are more for decoration. I don't even really go through them anymore. Then we have a couple books I had sitting out because I was reading these books at the time. You'll see a little more about this in my September TBR, and hopefully after I read it I'll do a book talk on it. The Six of Crows series was so good I had to pick up King of Scars. And I'm working my way through the Percy Jackson series for the first time right now, so of course Sea of Monsters was out. I was like clutching these to my chest in the front seat like, I cannot lose these during the move. I need to finish them. Then we've got some notebooks and my portfolio. Those don't really matter right now. Ugh. We've got one of my devotionals, Jesus Calling. I actually haven't even gone through that one yet. I'm still working my way through a different one. My NIV study Bible. These cute books I picked up at Barnes & Noble, 500 writing prompts and drawing prompts. I think they're adorable. My Starry Night puzzle. And a couple of textbooks that Kenneth insisted on keeping, even though they're not very interesting at all. Okay, what's the first box that we want to get? I have no clue which box is which. It's going to be a surprise every time. Let's just go in order. What's going to be in this? Ooh, I picked a good one to start with. This looks like my, for the most part, paperback fantasy / contemporary shelf, if that makes sense. I got If I Stay and Where She Went by Gail Forman. Really good books. Some Boys by Patty Blount. I should have another book by her in here. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I haven't read this yet, so no spoilers, please. Alex Approximately. This is my favorite summer read. I've read it 3 summers in a row. I can't get enough of it. Starry Eyes. I bought that just because it was by the same author. The Fill-In Boyfriend. Cute story. Never Never. Radiance and Evermore by Alison Noel. I Was Here by Gail Forman. I don't really know what this one's about, but I was really into Gail Forman at the time, so I bought it just because it had her name on it. Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm, another Leigh Bardugo book series. I haven't read this series yet. I bought it because Six of Crows was so good, but I haven't found the 3rd book in the original covers yet, and I really don't want to start it until I have all 3. Sin by Patty Blount. That's the other one. Come Back to Me by Mila Gray. Torn by Amanda Hocking. I actually won this one on Goodreads. Before I Let Go. The Maze Runner. Eeny Meeny. I don't know what this one is about, honestly. It looked really interesting. I think I read the back and decided that it sounded cool. The Time Traveler's Wife. After by Anna Todd. I Shouldn't Be Ashamed, But I Am. World After. The Inquisition by Violet's Wonderful Lover. Now we're getting into some random books here. These are not necessarily fantasy. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Another very good read if you want to be productive. I was going to say at work, but really anywhere. Bullies by Ben Shapiro. Just read that one. Preach to Yourself by Haley Morgan. Highly, highly recommend. 5 Habits of a Woman Who Doesn't Quit. Super good. Super good. Master of One. Haven't read this one. No Excuses. Haven't read that one. Tommy Lauren's Never Play Dead. I haven't read that one either. That's the first box done. I should go ahead and take note that we do not drink this much liquor. This is how we move. You go to the liquor store and they always have all their boxes just sitting up out front for people to take. And that's how we got all my books moved. Okay, second one. Oh, this has some of my bookshelf items on it. Little bird my friend got me at the mall. This cool tortoise shell, or it's a box turtle shell that I found in the woods. And I did like bleach the crap out of it before I just brought that thing inside. My Wonder Woman shot glass Kenneth bought me. It's actually got all the DC characters, but Wonder Woman's the only one that matters. My Antique Books candle. My cousin bought me this because I always talked about how much I love the smell of books. It doesn't exactly smell like antique books though. It's not a bad smell. This looks like my classic bookshelf for the most part. I guess we'll go through these. Some of them I actually really like. Holes I really like. I don't know who doesn't. The History of Rassilus, Prince of Abyssinia. I haven't read that. I must have bought it for school and forgot about it. One of my many copies of Fahrenheit 451. This is my favorite classic of all time. Uncle Tom's Cabin. Another copy of Fahrenheit 451. This is sort of the original cover, I think. Arthur Miller's The Crucible. I went to see a play at that once at Lipscomb. It was really good. Where the Red Fern Grows. I don't want to talk about it. Cross 5 Aprils. Mythology. The Pearl. Depressing. Let me tell you. The Innocents Abroad by Mark Twain. This is a horribly, horribly big book, but it's actually really good. I normally don't like Mark Twain, but that was some pretty quality literature. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Animal Farm. Charlotte's Web. Oh, I love that one. The Ocean at the End of the Lane. My creative writing professor recommended this to us, and I never got around to reading it, but I really need to. Wuthering Heights. Hatchet. I've read this book like 4 times. My Side of the Mountain. Cute, cute book. 1984 by George Orwell. American Sniper by Chris Kyle. Call the Wild and White Fang. I love both of these. People of Passion by Carl Mays. I haven't read that one yet. Up From Slavery and A Southside View of Slavery. I had to read these in high school for one of my English classes, and I actually really appreciate everything that I learned from them, so I have kept them. A Monster Calls, my second favorite classic of all time, if it's considered a classic. Beautiful Girlhood. My mom and I went through this my senior year of high school, right before I graduated. I think she was impacted by it more than I was, just because I was the first one leaving the nest. But it was a good book. Last Child in the Woods. Ooh, I'm going to raise my kids on some of the principles in that book. The Inspirational Study Bible by Max Lucado. This is Kenneth's, actually. The Little Prince. More Greek mythology. The Daring Book for Girls. My grandmother bought this for me when I was like 7. The Illustrated The Art of War book. Such a pretty binded cover. This is actually Kenneth's too, but it's pretty, so I'm gonna keep it. Julie of the Wolves. The Great Gatsby. I actually kind of liked this book. I hated it the first time I read it, but the second time I read it, I started to like it. A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. A Tale of Two Cities. That one was actually pretty good. The Outsiders. I haven't read this yet, but Kenneth will not shut up about it, so I will be reading that one soon. I really need to make like a pile for books that I want to read soon. Box number 3. Oh, it's a heavy one. This is a good box. The Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. I just read this one. It was the first time that I have used these little sticky thingies in my books, and as you can tell, I went overboard with them. That series was so good. I really want to reread it, but I have so much new stuff to read. Got Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Origin by Jessica Cowrie. This was an interesting read. It felt like I would really get into it if I was into the more sci-fi-y type stuff, but it was a little difficult for me to get into, but it was a really cool book. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Haven't read that yet. Oh no, one of my Guardians of Ga'Hoole books got a little ripped. I got the entirety of the Guardians of Ga'Hoole series in here. I've read through that series like 2.5 times. This is obviously the beginning of my Warrior series too, because I've got the guidebooks in here. Such good books. The guidebooks are such a fun way to get a little more information about the series. My box set of C.S. Lewis's Narnia series. Look how pretty. It's got the movie stuff on it. Oh, I love it. 3 boxes down. Oh, this box is full of more bookshelf junk. My Bubbles doll. One of the corsages that I think the men were wearing in my wedding. A bunch of other little trinkets. A Coke bottle that I got to grab right off the line at the Coke factory. Candles that Disney left in Kenneth and I's room for our honeymoon. My Wonder Woman. Wait. Oh yeah. This is where it's at. Alex and Eliza, A Love Story by Melissa de la Cruz. More candles. Okay, so these are more classics. I didn't realize how many classics I had. Tragedy of Hamlet, A Walk Across America. Highly recommend A Walk Across America. That one is so cool. The Coaching Habit, Beyond Reason, Under the Same Sky. I put these all together because I got them all free the same week in lots of weird different ways, and it just made me happy. Should have done a book haul about it. Dave Ramsey's The Money Answer book. I've got a few books by Dave Ramsey, I'm just going to warn you. The Jungle Book. James Patterson's Maximum Ride. This is another book that Kenneth hasn't shut up about, and so I really want to start reading through these pretty soon. A Lone Warriors book. Where are the rest of them? The Advantage. Another businessy type book, I think. I didn't read it. I think I was supposed to. Save the Date. I keep hearing so much about this one. I really want to get into it. No Try Only Do. Some kind of motivational book that I got for free also. Thanks, college. More Mark Twain books, because I did in fact take a class on him when I was getting my English minor. He's not a bad writer. He's not. And I like the point in history that he's portraying. But the whole dialect thing, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Especially in Huckleberry Finn. 4 boxes down. This is definitely going to be longer than 30 minutes. Ooh, some more children's books. First 2 books in the Lone Wolf series by Catherine Lasky. I bought that because I liked Guardians of Ga'Hoole so much, but it doesn't carry quite the same theme. The first book in the Percy Jackson series, just finished that. Okay, probably the entire rest of this box is the Warriors series. Oh my gosh, they're not even in order anymore either. Oh, here's some more Percy Jackson series. More Warriors. Could you tell I like the Warriors books? Liked, like it's past tense. Watership Down and Tales from Watership Down. This book was honestly one of my favorite books of all time. Still kind of is one of my favorite books of all time. I read it 3 times between the ages of 10 and 14. The rest of these I think are the Percy Jackson books. Yep. The Battle of the Labyrinth, The Last Olympian, The Titan's Curse, and then the spin-off series, The Lost Hero, Red Pyramid, and Son of Neptune. Too many. There's so many already. What am I going to do? We're getting there. It looks like I threw mostly my Christian bookshelf in this one. When God Writes Your Love Story. Let the River Run by Dan Scott. Oh, I love his books. The Divine Matchmaker. A Study of Luke by Earl Lavender. Love this book. Love this professor. Saints by Addison Bevere. I think I talk about this in one of my other videos. Really good book. It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa Kurst. A Beautiful Offering. The Good and Beautiful God. Heaven is for Real. Can You Keep Your Faith in College? I need to pass that one down to my brother or something. Deepening the Soul for Justice. It's more of like a pamphlet than a book. Timothy Keller's Every Good Endeavor. 1,000 Gifts. Till We Have Faces, another C.S. Lewis book. Before Bethlehem, another one I want on Goodreads. Afraid of Everything, another one I want on Goodreads. Rachel's Tears. Oh my gosh, I probably cried more in that book than I have in any other book. The Knowledge of the Holy, 5 People You Meet in Heaven, also a good cry book. The Purple Book, oh, so good. God's Not Dead and the Human Right. One of these is signed, because Rice Brooks was a pastor at my old church. The Help, Uninvited, Intimacy with God, 5 Love Languages, Sex, Jesus, and the Conversations the Church Forgot. This is such a good book. Really appreciated the kind of stuff she discussed in that book. Passion and Purity. Some heavy stuff in this box. And then I have the Iron Legends or Iron King book series. I haven't read any of these yet. My friend Caitlin bought them for me. Really need to get into them. I've had them for so long. This pile's gonna fall over. Okay. Ooh, I'm excited about this one. This one has all the good stuff in it. All the hardcovers. Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. Ooh, good book. There's Someone Inside Your House. Hunting Prince Dracula and Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Manis. An Ember in the Ashes. Non-fiction books here. The Theft of America's Soul by Phil Robertson. What is the Bible by Rob Bell. What Good is God by Philip Yancey. Financial Peace by Dave Ramsey. Love that book. Cruel Crown, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be with its series, but we will find that later. Simple Church. Courageous Leadership. Those make me really sad, those don't have dust covers. A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. The Arrow by R.R. McCoy. Really good book. I know the family of the guy that wrote that book. Mission of Mercy by Nancy Alcorn. Ditch the Baggage, also by Nancy Alcorn. All the C.S. Lewis's best books in this beautiful little collection here. A Love Worth Giving. Breaking Night. When God Whispers Your Name. The Magnolia Story. The Boy Who Came Back from Heaven. Is that the same as Heaven is for Real? Let me look into that. And Heaven by Randy Alcorn. Stay. Ooh, we're getting some good stuff. A God in Ruins. This is another one I won on Goodreads. I don't know how I win stuff on Goodreads so easily. Or so much, I guess. I did enter a lot of giveaways that year, but I did not expect to win. Set for Life by Scott Trench. More Dave Ramsey. The Complete Guide to Money. If there were any Dave Ramsey book I would recommend for someone starting out, this would be the book. I don't know how all these non-fictions got stuffed in with all these fiction books. The Right Side of History by Ben Shapiro. 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. Get Out of Your Own Way by Dave Hollis. And Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. I should also have Girl Wash Your Face in here somewhere. The Proximity Principle. Oh, there it is. Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. 18 in Life on Skid Row by Sebastian Bach. He has the most amazing voice of all time. I don't care if the book is trash. I'm going to read it anyways. Jacoby by William Ritter. That book was so good I instantly bought the next 2 books, which are right here. I really want to read these really soon. The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. I'm putting that in my to be read soon pile. The Telling by Alexandra Suroi. 4 by Veronica Roth. The Divergent Trilogy box set by Veronica Roth. Love and Other Foreign Words. I've read this twice. The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. It's the only Nicholas Sparks book I own, and I still have yet to read it. I feel like I have to read one Nicholas Sparks book, even if I know how they all end. Cold Kiss. Oh, and another book in the Jacoby series. I forgot it was 4. Oh my gosh, now I'm excited. Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. Rebel Bell by Rachel Hawkins. This is a really good book. This does not get enough appreciation, I don't think. That was that box. Box number 345. Oh, now we're getting to the good stuff. My Beautiful Edition of the Twilight book by Stephanie Meyer. My parents actually bought me this because they knew how obsessed I was with the first book. Look at it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's even got a thingy. And then I've got Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. I just bought this. I actually pre-ordered it, and I pre-ordered a signed copy because I had to. Twilight Forever. These are actually the set of the movies and all the special features to the movies. I don't know how they got thrown with my books. The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. New Moon. Eclipse. And a little rough copy of Breaking Dawn. These books are always going to have a place in my heart. Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepard is next. Just read that. That was actually pretty good. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Oracle. That's actually a really good book too. And then I've got the 10,000 Skies Above You series. I haven't read any of these yet. I literally bought them because the covers are so pretty. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no to the covers. Then I've got my box set of the Hunger Games trilogy because, you know, why not? And I guess I stuffed some of my big devotional type books in here. I did some of these with some of the Bible study I was in college, and then some of them I just did on my own because they looked interesting. Getting to the last few boxes. More boringish books. Financial intelligence, I kept this just so that I knew what the heck was going on in all my finance classes. Entrepreneurship, another book that I just felt was necessary for pretty much every class. A book on Excel. How exciting. Another book on Greek mythology. I obviously have a thing for Greek mythology. All of my high school yearbooks. We're not going to show you the inside of these because I was a total dork. Middle school yearbooks. College yearbooks. I don't know why I kept these. All they have in them are my name. The thingy they gave us when I graduated. The thingy they gave us when I graduated the second time. Good old master's degree. My Latin books. This is how I learned everything I know about Latin, which is almost nothing because it's all kind of disappeared up there, but Digital Marketing Essentials. Lipscomb Summit. That was fun. Disney's Easy to Read Stories. This was the first book I ever read. Actually memorized it. You can learn a little more about that in my BookTube newbie tag video. World History and Cultures. Some riveting stuff here, guys. American Heroes. The Cherokee Removal. That's one of Kenneth's books. I don't know how it got in here. The entire U.S. Constitution and selected writings of the Founding Fathers. This is just such a pretty... Look at the golden. It was such a pretty Barnes & Noble edition. I had to get it. And it matched my Grimm's Fairy Tales book from Barnes & Noble. Look at look at it. It's so pretty. And then later I also got the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe because he's one of my favorite short story writers of all time. This one has silver. Look at that. Look at that. I want to buy all of those books, but they're so expensive. This box also harbors the entire Throne of Glass series, which I own but have not read. I didn't mean to buy the entire series without reading a single one. I just, every time there was one at a garage sale or on thrift books or at Barnes & Noble or Books A Million's bargain section, I just grabbed it if it was cheap for a hardcover. And I just slowly accumulated all of them. And I'm going to read them eventually. Also got my Red Queen series. Look at that nice transition there. Oh, it's pretty. To the left. You can see the wall. Ooh, more random books. Stephen King's On Writing. I highly recommend this if you're interested in writing a book. It's not just about writing horror books either. Here are the student books for the Cambridge Latin courses that I took. The Norton Anthology of American Literature. I love these books. I read them for a literature class in college and I just, I could soak it all up. More classics. How do I own this many classics? Utopia, The Odyssey, Dante's The Inferno. Creepy book. 1776. Oh my gosh. This pile's about to fall. Some of the No Fear Shakespeare books. I think I had a whole class on Shakespeare in high school. And this is the only way that I was able to get through them. I don't hate Shakespeare. It's just hard to read. American History in bite-sized chunks. It's a really good refresher. I highly recommend it. Robert Frost's Selected Poems. Oh, I could not say enough about Robert Frost. He is my favorite. His poetry just makes me happy. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This guy was woke. I can't believe I just used that word. He knew mental health before it was a thing. Another copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, because look, it's pretty. Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. That is such a good book. Another one that I think everybody should read, especially writers. Harvard Business Review's Manager's Handbook. Boring stuff. The Leadership Challenge. This is kind of mine and Kenneth's. I read it for school. He read it because he thought it looked interesting. Every Man a Hero. American Soldier, General Tommy Franks. I haven't read that yet. How to Write a Novel. Another good book for writers. I highly recommend all of those. Lincoln on Leadership. This book I was skeptical about, but it actually ended up being really good. The last box. What could it be? My Wonder Woman book. I actually really didn't like this book, but look at the cover. Oh my gosh, I just love Wonder Woman so much. The Last American Vampire. I really, really want to read this one soon. Stephen King's The Institute. Stephanie Meyer's The Host. If you haven't read anything by Stephanie Meyer and you think this is like Twilight, or if you have read Twilight and you think this is gonna be like Twilight, it's not. It's such a good book. It's like a whole other author. Not that she was bad when she wrote Twilight, but people complain about it enough where I'm like, okay, but the host, it's different. Again, But Better by Christine Riccio. I'm putting this on my to be read soon pile because I love her. I'm so excited that she got to publish her first book and she's working on her second. It's so inspiring just as a fellow book nerd and writer that she just started a booktube and now she's where she is now. It's so, so cool. These Broken Stars, 13 Rising, another mythology book. Gone Girl. This is actually a really good book. If you like mystery type stuff that like gets in your head, this is a good book. Short Stories by H.P. Lovecraft. There they are. Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I would put this book, maybe this one too, in the top fantasy book I have ever read. I don't want to set your expectations too high because it is a strange world to get into, but oh my goodness, I could not get enough of it. I need more. That's why I'm reading King of Scars next. And that's why I'm thrilled about the most recent announcement of her next book, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. I just read this one recently. Really, really, really good. And Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Same girl that wrote the Dreams of Gods and Monsters series, so I know it's gotta be good. And that is every book I own, completely unboxed in this tiny room before I even have a bookshelf to put them on, because that's how I do things. I really should think things through more. But this will give me a chance to organize them, and I'll let you guys know how that process goes. I'm just so, so excited to be in this new place. I'm so excited to set up some new shelves and to talk about all the new things going on in our lives right now. Look, I did the we thing again. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I really appreciate it, and I love you guys so much. I make videos every Saturday, sometimes Thursdays too. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Have a fantastic Labor Day weekend. I will see you guys next week. Bye! So as you probably know, if you were watching my other videos, my husband, wow, it's really echoing here. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, I just ripped my pants farther. Don't bend your knee that far, we have ripped pants on. What are these? I don't even know what this is. Oh, these are like induction templates for some of the societies I was in. That's neat.